Do you think that coaches have found it difficult to manage that side of you being really competitive? And have you found anyone that's managed to get the best out of you?
I don't think necessarily find it hard to manage. I just think they're just a bit like taken aback, especially I guess in the women's game. Like it's like people. This is literally what people say to me. They're like, "Oh, you think like a boy," and I'm like, "What does that even mean? Like, what does that mean?" And I guess it is a bit frustrating sometimes that people say something like that to me, and I just think, but that's not a boy or a girl thing. That's just a thing that people who want to do well in sport, that's how they think. That's how all the best players think and feel, because I've played with a lot of them. But we tend to have this stigma around the way that we should treat female athletes or female sports, that mentally they maybe can't handle certain things. And I'm thinking, no, that's because you've told them that they can't handle it because they're a girl, but actually they can if you just let them. And I do think that the coaches that I've worked the best under are the ones that they maybe don't know what to do with me, but they understand that that's how I am. I think I have from a young age, like doing extras. I don't think there's ever been a season in my life where I haven't gone home and done something at home. Whether it's like, I remember when I lived at home with my parents, and we kind of lived on this hill, and I didn't have like a timer or anything. I didn't have like the GPS or the heart rate and all this fancy stuff that we would say we would use in training today. But I'd literally sprint as hard as I could up the hill, jog down, sprint up, jog down, until I literally couldn't do it anymore. And I've just always been that person that wants to do stuff until like I'm dead. Like that, I think that's how you learn to break barriers down. I think sometimes as players who go, "Oh, I'm tired, I can't." I'm like, you can, but you need to find that barrier that's in front of you and break it down. I think from an early age, I found that and learned how to push my body to the absolute max without thinking in my head, "Oh, I can't do it, I can't do it."
Would you say that, I suppose, that valuing of a relationship with a coach and them understanding you and getting you as a person is just as vital as them understanding you as a footballer?
Yeah, I definitely think there needs to be a level of understanding. I think that's something that, again, I think I had that with Phil Neville. We kind of we understood what each other were like, and it just made everything easier. I don't think you don't necessarily have to be best friends and know about, the dog and stuff like that. But I think it's understanding the mentality and understanding how they'll react to certain situations. So that's how you can push someone. I know that's how Phil used to push me. He knew how I'd react to certain situations, whereas it might have been different, say, for somebody else like Steph Horton. Me and her are both very different, but also very driven to get to the top. And we both are at the top, yet you challenge us in very different ways. And I think that's something that, yeah, is a big thing for coaches, because I think the way that you improve players is by challenging them. But some players can be challenged in one way, and you could do that to another player, but that'll completely break them down.
When you come back from America, you've obviously had experience at Sunderland, Everton, Liverpool, moved across then to Man City, obviously went to Lyon and come back. But is there any key learning experiences that stand out for you across your time at all them clubs? Any sort of key influences in terms of peers or key influences in terms of coaches and managers that have really enhanced or give you something that was a nugget of information that you were like, I'll always keep that with me, I'll always take that with me, in terms of your tech and tack or anything across the four corners, really?
I remember being at Sunderland when I was 17, and we played an FA Cup final against Arsenal. And I mean, we didn't really have any right to be there playing against them. And I was playing against Rachel Yankee. I remember the manager wrote us like a note each, which I actually still have. I don't know where it is. And he was just like, "You're playing against one of the best players in England today. I know that you know in your head that you're going to be fine. Like, you're the last person I need to tell anything to." And I think it's just that like reassurance of like confidence that really stuck with me. And I actually ended up getting man of the match in that game at 17, which is quite funny. But I think in America, yeah, Anson Dorrance is an amazing character. But I think like I said, coaches have always found it hard to understand me. I think I've always got a lot of off of the players that I played with. I think like Farrell Williams is someone we've just found this level of respect for each other where we actually like made really good friends. We ended up being roommates at the World Cup and stuff. But it was funny because at Liverpool we used to laugh that we're just such opposite players. But then we found a way that made it just work like perfectly. And I think she was kind of the player that, although she didn't play, I didn't copy the way she played. I learned a lot on how I can use my best assets in the way that I play. Because obviously I used to watch her and she just do certain things, and I was just thinking she's just doing that because that's what suits her, and she constantly play balls that she'd be like, Lucy, get after that, and I'd be like, yeah, I can get after that. So then it just started clicking, and it was just without even thinking we were doing things, and I think she was someone that really taught me like not like tactics, but just how to play the understanding of the game. I think there's a difference. I think some players copy too much of just tactics, but actually understanding why you're doing things is probably the most important thing. You know, because you could have really good tactics, but actually in a game, I'm against a winger, and the manager might say you need to show them outside every time, but that changes depending on where you are on the pitch and where the players are around you and what's going on in that time of the game. But you have to have that understanding of that to understand when to apply these tactics. And I think Farrow was someone that completely made me understand game understanding and not just tactics and not just being a big brute and just running into people. I really learned the game a lot more from just watching and playing with her for so many years when she was kind of, yeah, probably one of the best players. Well, one of the best players in England easily.
What advice would you give now then to girls who aspire to play at the highest level and to do what you've done and have the impact in the game?
I think just for me, it was always about being challenged. I think just enjoy being challenged, enjoy working hard. You know, if you're doing something that you love, if you love football, you're going to want to do those things. I absolutely love football, so when I'm working hard or doing fitness tests or doing extras or taking ice baths, like it's not a big deal to me because the love that I have when I'm playing the game is much more than the hatred that I have for doing any of those things.
Yeah.
So I think it's just working hard and just keep challenging yourself to be better. There's always a way that you can challenge yourself, and there's always something that you can do to make yourself better.